Whispers of Doom: A Shadow from the Past. The year was 1995. Tokyo shuddered. A chilling event unfolded: the Aum Shinrikyo sarin gas attack on the subway. This act of terror shocked the world. It revealed the dark potential of a doomsday cult. Aum Shinrikyo, meaning Supreme Truth, was no ordinary group. Founded in 1984 by Shoko Asahara, it combined Buddhist and Hindu mysticism with apocalyptic prophecies. Asahara, a charismatic yet enigmatic figure, declared himself a Christ-like figure. He promised his followers salvation from a world on the brink of destruction. Aum Shinrikyo's ideology was a toxic blend of spiritual yearning and fear. Asahara's teachings resonated with Japan's social anxieties. The country was grappling with economic uncertainty and a sense of disillusionment. Asahara offered a seductive escape. He promised power and enlightenment through rigorous spiritual practices. These practices, however, masked a sinister agenda. Asahara's true goal was to instigate an apocalyptic war. This would pave the way for his rule of a new world order. To achieve this, he indoctrinated his followers with twisted interpretations of scripture. He instilled in them an absolute obedience and a willingness to commit violence. The sarin attack was the culmination of this dangerous worldview. It demonstrated the deadly consequences of unchecked fanaticism. Although Aum Shinrikyo was dismantled, its legacy continues to haunt us. The cult's dark shadow extends into the digital age. It serves as a stark reminder of the fragility of truth. It underscores the susceptibility of individuals to extremist ideologies. Aum Shinrikyo's story is a cautionary tale. It reminds us that the game of terror can take on many forms. The Digital Sermon, Aum Shinrikyo's virtual mission. The digital age presents new avenues for the spread of ideologies. Video games in particular have become powerful platforms. They can be used to propagate messages and influence beliefs. In the case of Aum Shinrikyo, the virtual world became an extension of its real-world ambitions. The cult's foray into gaming was not merely a matter of entertainment. It was a calculated move to recruit and indoctrinate. Aum Shinrikyo sought to exploit the immersive nature of games. They aimed to create a virtual echo chamber for their twisted doctrines. The cult's game, while shrouded in mystery, is believed to have incorporated elements of their ideology. It likely featured apocalyptic themes, spiritual quests, and teachings from Asahara. The game aimed to create a virtual microcosm of the cult's worldview. It sought to draw players into a world where Asahara's doctrines reigned supreme. This digital sermon was a dangerous tool. It allowed Aum Shinrikyo to bypass traditional barriers. They could reach a new generation of potential recruits. The game's allure lay in its forbidden knowledge. It offered players a glimpse into the cult's secretive world. This exclusivity fostered a sense of belonging. It created a virtual community bound by shared beliefs. The game served as a gateway to Aum Shinrikyo's ideology. It subtly instilled its doctrines into the minds of players. While the exact impact of the game remains unknown, it serves as a chilling example. It shows how extremist groups can leverage technology to further their agendas. The digital realm, once seen as a space for escapism, is now a battleground. It is a place where dangerous ideologies can spread and gain traction. Twisted reality, the game's disturbing narrative. The narrative of Aum Shinrikyo's game is a chilling reflection of the cult's ideology. It is a world steeped in apocalyptic prophecies, where Asahara's teachings are presented as the ultimate truth. The game's storyline likely revolved around a world on the brink of destruction. Players were likely cast as heroes destined to save humanity. The catch, however, was that salvation could only be achieved through Asahara's teachings. The game's narrative was a carefully crafted manipulation. It aimed to instill a sense of urgency and fear in players. This fear then served as a catalyst for embracing the cult's doctrines. The game's characters were likely modeled after prominent figures in Aum Shinrikyo. Asahara himself may have been depicted as a messianic figure. The game's visuals and sound design likely reinforced the cult's ideology. Ominous music, apocalyptic imagery, and distorted depictions of reality all contributed to a disturbing and immersive experience. The game's narrative was a form of virtual brainwashing. It aimed to subtly indoctrinate players by immersing them in a world where Aum Shinrikyo's ideology was the only truth. This twisted reality had the potential to warp players' perceptions of the real world. it could lead them to question their own beliefs and embrace the cult's doctrines as a form of salvation. The game's disturbing narrative serves as a stark reminder of the power of storytelling. In the wrong hands, a compelling narrative can be used to manipulate and control. It underscores the importance of critical thinking and media literacy. We must be able to discern fact from fiction, especially in the immersive world of video games. Cult of Gamers, the allure of the forbidden. The allure of Aum Shinrikyo's game lay not only in its narrative, but also in its exclusivity. The game was likely only accessible to members of the cult. This created a sense of belonging and reinforced the group's insular nature. The game became a virtual clubhouse where members could connect and reinforce their shared beliefs. The exclusivity of the game tapped into a fundamental human desire, the desire to be part of something special. Aum Shinrikyo's game offered players a sense of identity and purpose. It provided a community where they felt understood and accepted. This sense of belonging was especially appealing to individuals who felt alienated or marginalized in the real world. The game's forbidden knowledge was another powerful draw. The cult's teachings, shrouded in secrecy, were presented as a form of enlightenment. Players were made to feel like they were privy to special knowledge that set them apart from the masses. This exclusivity fostered a sense of superiority and reinforced the cult's ideology. The game's appeal was further enhanced by its immersive nature. Video games, by their very design, are engaging and captivating. They transport players to different worlds and allow them to escape the mundane realities of everyday life. Aum Shinrikyo's game exploited this immersive quality to draw players deeper into the cult's ideology. The game's virtual world became a refuge from the outside world. It was a place where players could lose themselves in the cult's doctrines and find solace in their shared beliefs. The cult of gamers that formed around Aum Shinrikyo's game is a testament to the power of community and belonging. It highlights the importance of critical thinking and the need to be wary of groups that offer exclusivity and forbidden knowledge. Section 5. Scars of Trauma, the Psychological Impact. The psychological impact of Aum Shinrikyo's game on its players is a complex and disturbing issue. The game's apocalyptic themes, its emphasis on Asahara's teachings, and its immersive nature likely had a profound effect on players' mental states. The game's constant bombardment of apocalyptic imagery and fear-inducing scenarios could have led to anxiety, paranoia, and even depression. Players may have become desensitized to violence and increasingly accepting of the cult's extremist ideology. The game's immersive nature could have blurred the lines between reality and fantasy. Players may have struggled to separate the virtual world of the game from the real world, leading to confusion and disorientation. The game's emphasis on Asahara's teachings could have led to cognitive dissonance. Players may have felt compelled to reconcile their own beliefs with the cult's doctrines, leading to internal conflict and psychological distress. The game's impact on players' social lives is another area of concern. The game's exclusivity and insular nature may have isolated players from their friends and family who were not part of the cult. This isolation could have further reinforced the cult's hold on players' minds and made it more difficult for them to leave the group. The psychological scars left by Aum Shinrikyo's game highlight the potential dangers of immersive technology. Video games can be powerful tools for shaping beliefs and influencing behavior. It is crucial to be aware of the potential psychological impact of games, especially those that promote extremist ideologies. Section 6. Echoes in the Metaverse, the cult's digital afterlife. The emergence of the metaverse presents new challenges in the fight against extremist ideologies. The metaverse, a network of interconnected virtual worlds, offers unparalleled opportunities for immersion and interaction. This makes it a prime target for groups like Aum Shinrikyo, seeking to spread their message and recruit new members. The metaverse's decentralized nature makes it difficult to monitor and regulate. Extremist groups can operate with relative anonymity, making it harder to track their activities and counter their influence. The metaverse's emphasis on virtual identity can be exploited by extremist groups. They can create avatars that embody their ideology and use them to attract and indoctrinate vulnerable individuals. The metaverse's immersive nature can amplify the psychological impact of extremist content. Virtual reality experiences can create a sense of presence and immediacy, making it easier for extremist groups to evoke strong emotions and manipulate beliefs. The metaverse's social nature can create echo chambers where extremist ideologies can flourish. Users can self-select into communities that reinforce their existing beliefs, making it harder for them to encounter opposing viewpoints. The echoes of Aum Shinrikyo's ideology can be found in the metaverse's dark corners. Extremist groups may be developing new games and experiences that draw inspiration from the cult's teachings. These virtual spaces can serve as breeding grounds for radicalization, attracting individuals seeking belonging and purpose. The metaverse's potential for good is undeniable, but it also presents new challenges in the fight against extremism. It is crucial to develop strategies to counter the influence of extremist groups in the metaverse and protect vulnerable individuals from their harmful ideologies. Section 7. The Price of Belief, examining the cult's motives. Aum Shinrikyo's motives for creating a video game were multifaceted and driven by a complex interplay of factors. At its core, the cult sought to expand its reach and influence, attracting new recruits and spreading its ideology to a wider audience. The video game served as a tool for indoctrination, subtly introducing players to the cult's teachings and normalizing its extremist worldview. The game's immersive nature and engaging narrative allowed the cult to bypass traditional barriers to recruitment, targeting individuals who might not have been receptive to their message in other contexts. The cult's motive for creating the game also stemmed from its desire to control and manipulate its members. The game served as a form of virtual surveillance, allowing the cult to monitor players' behavior and assess their level of commitment to the group's ideology. The game's exclusivity and the sense of belonging it fostered reinforced the cult's hold on its members, making it more difficult for them to leave the group. The cult's financial motives cannot be ignored. The game likely generated revenue for the group, providing funds to support its operations and further its ambitions. The game's development and distribution may have also served as a source of income for the cult's members, creating a financial incentive for them to participate in the project. Aum Shinrikyo's motives for creating the video game were a complex mix of ideological, social, and financial factors. The cult sought to exploit the immersive nature of gaming to spread its message, control its members, and generate revenue. Section 8. Guardians at the Gate Combating Virtual Extremism. The battle against virtual extremism requires a multi-pronged approach involving collaboration between governments, tech companies, and individuals. Governments have a crucial role to play in enacting legislation that criminalizes the creation and distribution of extremist content online, including within video games. These laws must be carefully crafted to balance freedom of speech with the need to protect public safety. Tech companies must take an active role in moderating content on their platforms, developing algorithms, and employing human moderators to identify and remove extremist content. They must also invest in research to understand the evolving tactics of extremist groups and develop effective countermeasures. Individuals have a responsibility to educate themselves about the dangers of virtual extremism and be critical consumers of online content. They can report extremist content to platform moderators, engage in counterspeech to challenge extremist narratives, and support organizations working to combat online hate. Collaboration is key to effectively combating virtual extremism. Governments, tech companies, and individuals must work together to create a safer online environment. This includes sharing information, coordinating efforts, and developing shared strategies to counter the evolving tactics of extremist groups. The fight against virtual extremism is an ongoing battle, requiring vigilance, adaptation, and a commitment to protecting the digital realm from those who seek to exploit it for nefarious purposes. Section 9. Lessons Learned. Safeguarding the Digital Realm. The case of Aum Shinrikyo and its foray into the virtual world offers valuable lessons for safeguarding the digital realm from extremist ideologies. Firstly, it underscores the importance of media literacy and critical thinking. Individuals must be equipped with the skills to discern fact from fiction, identify manipulative tactics, and evaluate the credibility of online sources. Education plays a crucial role in fostering these skills, empowering individuals to navigate the digital world safely and responsibly. Secondly, the case highlights the need for collaboration between stakeholders. Governments, tech companies, educators, and civil society organizations must work together to develop comprehensive strategies to counter virtual extremism. This includes sharing information, coordinating efforts, and developing shared best practices for content moderation, law enforcement, and public awareness campaigns. Thirdly, the case emphasizes the importance of early intervention and prevention. Addressing the root causes of extremism, such as social isolation, economic inequality, and lack of opportunity, is crucial to prevent individuals from becoming vulnerable to extremist ideologies. Providing support and resources to at-risk communities can help build resilience and counter the allure of extremist groups. Finally, the case serves as a reminder that the fight against virtual extremism is an ongoing battle. Extremist groups are constantly evolving their tactics, adapting to new technologies, and exploiting emerging platforms. Section 10. The Enduring Shadow. Aum Shinrikyo's Legacy. Aum Shinrikyo may be gone, but its legacy continues to cast a long shadow. The cult's actions serve as a chilling reminder of the destructive potential of extremist ideologies. The sarin gas attack on the Tokyo subway remains etched in our collective memory as a stark warning against complacency. The cult's foray into the virtual world, though shrouded in mystery, highlights the adaptability of extremist groups and their willingness to exploit new technologies to further their agendas. Aum Shinrikyo's legacy serves as a cautionary tale, reminding us that the threat of extremism is ever present. The cult's teachings, though distorted and dangerous, continue to circulate online, finding new adherents among those seeking belonging, purpose, or an escape from reality. The rise of new technologies, such as the metaverse, presents new challenges in the fight against extremism. These immersive virtual worlds offer fertile ground for extremist groups to recruit, indoctrinate, and spread their message. Aum Shinrikyo's legacy underscores the importance of vigilance and preparedness. We must learn from the past, adapt to the present, and anticipate the future to effectively counter the threat of extremism in all its forms. The fight against extremism is a marathon, not a sprint. It requires sustained effort, collaboration, and a commitment to protecting our societies from the dangers of hate and intolerance. We must remain vigilant against the enduring shadow of Aum Shinrikyo, ensuring that its legacy serves as a reminder of the importance of safeguarding our values, promoting tolerance, and fostering a culture of peace. Section 11. Vigilance and Resilience. Protecting our future. Protecting our future from the threat of virtual extremism requires a collective effort founded on vigilance and resilience. We must remain alert to the evolving tactics of extremist groups, their exploitation of new technologies, and their attempts to infiltrate online communities. This vigilance necessitates staying informed about the latest trends in virtual extremism, monitoring online platforms for signs of extremist activity, and reporting suspicious content to the appropriate authorities. Resilience is equally crucial in the fight against extremism. We must build resilient communities that are resistant to the allure of extremist ideologies. This involves fostering a culture of critical thinking, promoting media literacy, and encouraging open dialogue about the dangers of extremism. Education plays a vital role in building resilience. Equipping individuals with the skills to identify extremist content, critically evaluate online information, and resist manipulative tactics is essential to counter the influence of extremist groups. Moreover, we must address the root causes that make individuals vulnerable to extremism. This includes tackling social isolation, economic inequality, discrimination, and lack of opportunity. By creating a more just and equitable society, we can reduce the appeal of extremist ideologies and build a more resilient future. Protecting our future from virtual extremism is an ongoing challenge that demands our sustained attention and collective action. By remaining vigilant, fostering resilience, and addressing the root causes of extremism, we can create a safer and more inclusive digital world for all. Section 12. Conclusion. The Game of Terror and the Urgency of Awareness. The story of Aum Shinrikyo and its foray into the virtual world reveals a chilling truth. The Game of Terror has evolved. It now plays out not only in the physical world, but also in the digital realm. The immersive nature of video games, the allure of belonging, and the ease of spreading information online create a fertile ground for extremist ideologies to take root and flourish. The case of Aum Shinrikyo's game serves as a stark reminder of the urgency of awareness. We must acknowledge the potential for extremism to infiltrate the virtual world and take proactive steps to counter its influence. This requires a multifaceted approach encompassing education, legislation, technological solutions, and community engagement. Educating ourselves and future generations about the dangers of online extremism is paramount. Fostering critical thinking skills, promoting media literacy, and encouraging healthy online habits are crucial steps in building a resilient society. Governments and tech companies have a shared responsibility to combat online extremism. This includes enacting and enforcing laws that criminalize extremist content, developing effective content moderation strategies, and investing in research to understand the evolving tactics of extremist groups. Ultimately, the fight against virtual extremism is a collective effort that requires the participation of all stakeholders. By working together, we can create a safer and more inclusive digital world, ensuring that the game of terror does not claim new victims in the virtual realm.